I have a special guest today. Boo, 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 boo. If you've been following us for a while, since we started this channel, it was originally TalesByus. We haven't done this in a really long time. She is.
That's it.
Today we're going to just speak about where we have been and how far we've come since we started TalesByus, which was in 2020 or 2019, December, I think. Yeah. Do you want to just give an update or rundown of what you've been doing since you left Korea?
So I became a real estate agent. Quite a huge jump from me being an English teacher. But I actually like it. And not that I'm like blowing my own horn, but I actually think I'm pretty good at my job. I haven't been doing much. I've been traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been traveling. And yeah, working most of the time.
Basically, in the last 2 years, you've just been building up your career and traveling mostly.
Pretty blessed that a lot has happened in a very short space.
Yeah. It's been a busy 2 years for you.
It sure has. Very dramatic in some aspects. But
Dramatic in what sense?
oh my gosh, like dealing with grown, because now it's like grown people, you know, and not little, children. And not dealing with children. It's a lot. There are so many characters that you come across, and just handling everything and both sides of the transaction, like the people being happy. It's quite a lot at times if you come across people that don't want to listen.
And since you've moved to something that's completely different to teaching, do you enjoy this more, or is it just difficult to compare the two?
I think it's difficult to compare the two. There's one thing that I wish carried over from teaching to where I am now, and that's work ethic. I feel like and this might not be a nice thing, but like in the space that I work in, I feel like the work ethic is not really great. I feel like people say it with their mouth that I want something, but then they don't work hard at it. So in Korea, when I arrived at school to teach, everyone had their thing to do. So I didn't feel like I needed to push my mentor teacher
to do
or
his
whoever
job.
to do their job. They just did it, and I got there and I did my part, and everything worked well.
Do you feel like, or are you saying that South Africans don't necessarily have the best work ethic?
Yeah, they don't answer emails on time. Worked with one lady where I literally sent an email today and she answered it in 4 days, and it was a very urgent one.
I've heard that it's really frustrating actually for Koreans when they deal with foreigners, because they feel like foreigners don't have an urgency. They take too long to respond to things, too long to do things, and here things are done quite quickly. So they kind of, in a way, feel like foreigners are slightly incompetent because everything just takes much longer. Of course, sometimes doing things quickly here comes at a cost.
Yeah.
Because it means that some people are doing things that they, at the time, feel overwhelmed by, right?
Got it.
Sometimes they don't have the time to do everything all at once, but when there is a deadline, they meet the deadline most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time they 100% do that. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. And I think I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't work here.
Yeah,
It would have been okay, you know, because I would have never known any better, or like not even better. I wouldn't have known any different, right? So now that I do know a difference, that everyone just has to do what they have to do because you said you wanted to work here.
With that said, do you think, because some people think that living abroad and working abroad is just like pointless because South Africa is so great and so amazing, what is the point of leaving? Do you think that working abroad actually broadens your perspective, your thinking, your attitude and behavior towards a lot of different things, not just one thing?
Yeah, very much so. I would say in a sense, we come across a lot of different people here, different cultures, different races. I feel like now when I go back home and I do encounter different people and different races and from different backgrounds as well, and not just South Africans, I can speak to them a lot more easier rather than looking at them from a point of, oh, you're from here or you're from here.
Ah.
Whereas here it was like, okay, we're all foreign, right? So we have that little band.
Right.
And now when they're there, it's like I can understand them where they are coming from because now they are foreign in my country.
Right. I've seen
Yeah.
a few people say that. I think we have more empathy towards foreigners in South Africa because we have been foreigners in other countries as well.
And it helps because it pushes me and it gets me into certain places where I feel like if I didn't live abroad, I would have never been able to make the moves I've been able to make. And thus then you reaching your success is a lot quicker than the next person.
Obviously, there's been a lot of growth. And do you feel like moving abroad has actually pushed you to grow?
Yes, definitely, because I know who I am now. I know what I like, what I don't like. And I feel like if I didn't have the space of living here to kind of figure out things where in my country they would be frowned upon, then I would not be the person that I am
Right
today.
now.
And I also feel like me moving back home at the time that I felt like I should move back helped me out a lot as well, because there are things that I discovered about myself when I got there, in terms of like my mental health and everything of that nature. So it was a 50-50, okay, let me say an 80-20 type of, I feel like the 20% I figured back at home, and then the 80% I figured
out
yeah, while I was in South Korea.
There's not much that you guys don't know about me. I feel like you are very clued up about what's happening with my life. So there's really not much to give, I guess.
I don't have a lot too.
Yeah, there's not much updates to give. You guys know I'm married now, still living in Korea.
Yeah.
Now, still creating content. There's really not that much.
Yeah,
I do feel like I mean, I lived abroad before, so there was growth then. I think being here has just
I was about to ask
brought in.
what's the difference, rather, like from your growth from living in America to your growth living here in
I don't know.
South
I
Korea?
feel like I've always been kind of independent in a way of like thinking and stuff. So moving to America, it was more of being independent and learning how to stand on my own without my family,
Got it.
without like being codependent on like everybody, you, mama and tate, you know. And I just kind of worked through myself, and at that time it was after losing Balesa, so I was still working through grief. So coming here, it wasn't that much different. I think it was just more of accepting myself as a person, like 100%, and being happy with who I am and who I am, like mentally, I would say like body wise as well.
Got it.
And not comparing myself to a lot of people. Granted, it's still something that's difficult to do.
I felt it
you
hard
know?
when I got here.
Right, like it's difficult not to compare. I'm constantly still working through it. Even I think I've spoken to you about how even making content, I still will compare my content to other people when we're not even in the same spectrum or same
doing the same
wavelength
thing.
at all. But it's still kind of there. So it's a daily thing. But I have realized I ask myself questions about stuff that come up now. Like, why am I thinking like this? Why am I doing this? Is this like good for me? And how to move forward. So it's kind of different in that, like, I guess, like, yeah, it's just growing older, I feel like.
I think for me the difference in like seeing you here and seeing you there, you look a lot more healthier here.
But like, granted, I drank so much. I drank and I partied so much. And I was stressed. I worked so much there
but
too.
in our first year, I feel like sort of we done do the drink.
Not that much though, compared to how I used to. And yeah, it was really intense. Like on a weekly basis, Michael, Nicole, and I would be out. Like it would be intense.
Got it.
But here it's completely different. I think
feel
you walk a lot when you're in Korea.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right.
Also, I feel like when we were both living here, you drank less than I did.
Yes, we were having this conversation
Yeah.
just like earlier. Here, I'm older than most people. I think, like, and specifically speaking, South Africans, it's younger people that are coming here. So it's harder to just engage with them and have conversations that I think, oh, like, this is great. They are those people, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, some of them, I sometimes think we are the same age, but then you actually sit down with them and then you find out that they're like 25,
Much
24,
younger.
and I'm like,
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, but I'm glad we came to Korea. It's been like a pivotal
Me too.
moment for both of us. It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I got married.
Yeah. And people ask me that all the time. Like when you tell them, hey, my sister's in Korea, and then they're like, oh, you were there as well. I'm like, yeah, I was. So why didn't you get married? How do you even answer something?
But I don't understand what kind of question that is when your journey is your journey, my journey
is like something skipped me out, and now I'm looking for
No,
it, like,
we have different journeys, and I don't get why people. Yes, we're close, but it doesn't mean that we have the same journeys. I think
a double wedding.
no, that would be weird. I would never even do that. That would be so strange. But yeah, okay. We don't want to ramble on too much, but you kind of get the gist of where we are right now, the things that we've learned as well. Let us know if you guys have any questions, comments down below. And any videos you'd like to see us do while Kat is still here, and we will try and do those. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.